Hello everyone, Mike Montag here, Soldiers of Odin Canada Public Relations Commanding Officer. I'm here today to discuss some events that took place at a rally out in Toronto involving our members in Sandra Solomon's protest. First off, I'd like to say great job to all our members, Sandra and her crew and everybody that supported her. First, I would like to explain the events that started that day before the rally started. We had arranged to do security again for Sandra, and our members were meeting her in a parking garage nearby where the protest was being held. They were approached by a large number of Antifa in that parking garage. They circled one of our members' cars, tried to jump on it, all this nonsense. So when they tried to exit it, they were confronted in the stairwell as well. These Antifa, obviously trying to push violent acts towards our members, so they exited another route to get to the safe area where the police had set up their protest area there. Meanwhile, while they're trying to get out with Sandra to the protest area, we had a few members that were already present up there, alone. They were quickly rushed on by a bunch of Antifa as soon as they saw one of our members' Soldiers of Odin sweaters. And I'm sure a lot of you may have already seen the video. And these guys were not going to back down. These fascist acts from these Antifa are trying to intimidate people like Sandra, people like our club that are helping people like Sandra, by using force, intimidation tactics. They even went as far throughout one of the little scuffles there by throwing a handful of glitter at a JDL member. Now what they do with this handful of glitter is quite interesting. They put illicit drugs inside it and throw it in your face. These are your anti-racism people, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our members, you can clearly see in that video, we're not going to take their shit. They didn't back down. They didn't initiate anything. They got surrounded and assaulted, and they defended themselves. Plain and simple. And had every right to do so. I'd also like to point out that 5 Antifa members were arrested and hauled away. And yeah, that's pretty much what went down with that little bit of a fight you saw there. Our guys weren't going to let these people intimidate anybody from having their voices heard at this protest. There was another video going around by Ronnie Cameron, which is quite the video and perspective of that rally. You had Antifa wearing armbands like Nazis and acting like fascists while screaming Nazi scum at anybody that was in disagreement with them. These Antifa wearing masks, outnumbering our members, trying to silence innocent people, wearing masks at a protest. I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but that is illegal in Canada. And in my opinion, there should have been a lot more arrests on the Antifa side for that alone. Why is it that our police authorities are not using this law to arrest these Antifa, communists, anarchists? That's what I want to know. Why is that? They show up to a peaceful protest wearing masks, trying to throw drugs in people's faces, trying to assault our members, trying to intimidate the public. And yet only 5 of possibly 100 or more were arrested. It's kind of strange to me. Especially since these anarchists, Antifa, by RCMP's documented standards, are on the extremist list, along with all the other bad groups, neo-Nazis, everything else. How the hell does our authorities justify not doing anything about that? They're illegally attending a protest. 1, breaking the law wearing the mask. 2, trying to harm people. 3, trying to infringe on people's freedoms of rights to freedom of speech, freedom of assembly and freedom of association. They should have been shut down as soon as they got there with those masks on. And I would recommend anybody in that general local area write to their supervisors, write to their police chiefs. Make sure it's known that this is not okay by public standards. Do whatever you can. Write them letters, write them emails, go down there, make up a report, whatever you have to do, because this is just not okay. We're not going to stand for it, and neither should you. Sandra Solomon is doing a great thing. I just shared one of her videos, and she was talking about how she wants everybody on the first Saturday of every month to do this in their own cities. Not just her, but on a nationwide scale. And I support that 100%, and I hope that you do too. We can't let our government silence us. We can't let these communist, anarchist, Antifa control you by putting fear into you, by calling you a racist and calling you a fascist. That's what it is. They're trying to deter people from being publicly shamed as a racist. Well, you can call me whatever you want. I know the truth. I'm not a racist. I know my club's not racist. I don't need ignorant person's approval. But these Antifa at this rally, I'd like to address something I said in the last live feed I did. I said we were going to continue to expose the mainstream media's false accusations and these Antifa's false accusations. Well, I'd like to expose one of the Antifa leaders out in Toronto. Hello, Cassandra. Cassandra Williams is a leader of Antifa in Toronto. I'll post her pictures later. She is also the president of the Student Union of the University of Toronto. The president of the Student Union of the University of Toronto. Seriously. You have this anarchist communist lead role in a student union in one of our universities in Toronto. How is this allowed? How is this okay? That these people are, these violent people, are in positions of influence in our universities. Something needs to be done about that. And anyone watching, anyone that catches wind of this, I strongly suggest you bring this up to that university. Get this face out there. I'll be posting her face shortly after the video here. Now, I wanted to make this this live video here more of a questions and answers kind of thing here. If anybody's got any, I'm more than willing to answer anything you have. Yeah, anytime I say Antifa, it makes my blood boil too. It's a sick, sick individual that is either completely ignorant or just plain stupid or evil to even think like that. It's absolutely bullshit. These people are infringing on all of our rights by trying to put fear into people, and you shouldn't accept that. Expose these people as much as you can. Go to these rallies. Support people like Sandra. Support people that are speaking out for their rights. Because you know what? When push comes to shove, we stand for our charter rights. Everyone's charter rights. Everyone in Canada. Whether we agree with them or not. If it's a peaceful protest, they have a right to do so. And that's what this was. This was intended to be a peaceful protest. And it always is. If these Antifa thugs didn't approach our members the way they did and try to assault them, and try to assault innocent people and go after Sandra and put fear into her to stop her from talking, if this wasn't happening, you wouldn't have seen this fight. You would have seen us proudly standing there with her, protecting her, holding our signs, having our word heard, and we all would have went home peacefully. Now, I know from personal experience that going to rallies that aren't yours, there's problems. The cops don't like that. You're coming there, they suggest that you're there to incite violence, even if you aren't. So my question is, why do these asshats do not get the same treatment we do? Why is it they can go up to a rally, masked up, outnumbering people, scaring them, throwing drugs in the face of people, and 5 out of 100 people get arrested? The masks alone should tell you something. The masks alone tell you that these people are there for no good. They're there protecting their identity because they know they're going to do something wrong. Our members, they had bandanas around their neck, but around their neck, showing their face. They're around their neck because these Antifa pieces of shit like to throw smoke bombs and tear gas at you. So, that's when you pull them up, to protect your lungs, not to hide your face. These guys are cowards. Absolute cowards. We need to do whatever we can to make sure as many people as we can know this. Keep supporting these protests. Keep supporting Sandra Solomon. She's doing a great, great thing for all of us by exposing not only these evil imams teaching hate in our country, but these Antifa as well. And she's not the type of woman that's going to be silenced, I can tell you that. She's very, very, very well heard, and she's going to keep going. And we'll be there with her every step of the way. And we will be there every step of the way when you Antifa fascists try to intimidate Canadian citizens that just want to be heard. If we got any questions, please shoot them through. I'll have a look here. Anthony says, Antifa members remind him of the Hitler's brown shirts. Well, it's very similar. I don't think they're quite as organized or as intelligent, to be honest. I think they're just puppets on a string for a more serious cause that we have yet to expose, but we're working on it. Got anybody with some questions I'd love to answer? Yeah, I seen one of our guys, remember, telling people to PM the page about membership. You know, even if it's not membership, if you just want to come out and support us at a rally, you can make sure that you get a hold of us first. We can arrange that we meet and get there safely together. You know, we want to get these numbers up. You don't have to join our club to be a part of this. This is our country. We're doing this to help people. You know, we started this as a, you know, obviously they have the same kind of beliefs as us. We were against what Trudeau's doing to our country. You know, we are against the teaching of hate in our country. But we need to get our numbers up. We need to have our voices heard. There's a lot of people out there, I know, that feel the same way. We need to get out and make sure we're heard. And once our numbers get high enough, these Antifa cowards are going to run like little children. They're nothing when they're in even numbers. They're nothing unless they are outnumbering you. Getting a lot of respect here from you guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, we do have merchandise, support gear, all sorts of stuff. You just have to find the local chapters in your area. Again, you can message the page about it. We can direct you to the local chapter, and they can get you any support gear that they may have. Why do people refuse to wake up? I mean, that's a great question, Sandra, but I wish I could answer it. I mean, it's all there. I mean, it's got a lot to do with the mainstream media. Mainstream media is, you know, playing to the liberal agenda, obviously. CBC is paid by tax dollars, which means it's controlled by the liberal government at the moment. You know, they're going to play to any narrative that these puppet strings are pulling. So a lot of this stuff gets come out on a lot of, you know, other sources of news throughout Facebook and on the internet, right? Just not so mainstream as such as CBC and all that stuff, right? You can find it if you look hard enough. It's all there. You can see what's going on in Europe. You can see what's going on here in the United States. It's all there. I mean, look at Michigan in the States. I mean, there's areas that are completely controlled by a Muslim population that, you know, Westerners aren't even welcome in. And this is in the United States. You know, this is not something that's a fake. This is not a fucking, I know it's April Fool's, but it ain't a fucking joke. These people are setting up camp. They're setting up to start these no-go zones that they're doing in Europe. And this no-go zone shit, you've got police that won't even enter there. And when you enter yourselves, they tell you you're going on your own and you won't get any help because they can't do anything, because they get beaten and assaulted and their cars get burned when they go in there. That's how serious this is in the UK and Germany and Sweden and everywhere else in Europe that's got these migrant problems. Yeah, that's right. Dearborn, Michigan. That's what I was talking about. Antifa is funded by Soros, do I think? You know, I've heard the rumor. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the way these people act is just absolutely side by side with fascist movements. They do the exact same thing. They just have a different political view with their communism and how they don't like the system. They don't like authority. They don't like, you know, anything to do with our democratic systems. George Soros himself was a freaking SS Nazi, so it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, the Muslim Brotherhood is definitely behind the scenes in our government, I can guarantee you that. Some more questions would be great here, guys. I mean, I got no problem answering any questions. Yeah, the whole elite system, all of them, the Rockefellers, the Soros, Rothschilds. It's all a monopoly, right? It's all a game to them. It's all money. It's control. And honestly, the way I see it, the reason why everybody's pushing this whole Islam agenda as far as the governments are concerned, in my eyes, is it's a great control mechanism. Let's be honest here. This book controls every little thing that you do in your life and punishes you if you stray from it even a bit. In fact, if you're an apostate, meaning if you leave that religion, there's a price on your head immediately. They want you dead. What kind of religion of peace is that? That kind of shit shouldn't be taught in a free country. Mary's asking how we can help. Like I said before, I mean, all we can do is get the word out, try to motivate people you know to look into these issues and learn. Don't take my word for it. Don't force someone to take your word for it, but make them learn. Make them look at it themselves. Because I guarantee, once you start thinking freely and looking at it from your own perspective, taking it out of your political views, you'll see it. These people are trying to destroy our country and our world. They're trying to control everything we do. And that is not a free nation. I'd say we're restricted enough by taxes and everything else. We don't need this kind of crap happening. And I'd like to touch on, what was that again? Ronnie Cameron, how's it going, Ronnie? Big fan of what you do. You're absolutely right. We have to gather up our troops. We have to get everybody on board. We've got to come together. We've got to hit this thing head on repeatedly every step of the way with M103. Anytime they're debating it, anytime they're looking into it, anytime they're making a decision on it, you've got to go there, go to your MPs, write them. You've got to send them emails. You've got to protest at City Hall. You've got to make your voice heard. Because if you just sit back and have your little angry face popping up on posts, that's not going to change anybody's minds. You got to get out there. You got to show them. And like I said, when these rallies happen, we're going to be posting them. Sandra's going to be posting them. I know Mayor from the JDL is going to be posting them. All you have to do is message our pages if you're interested to helping the protest and getting your voice heard. And we will meet with you so it's a safe gathering, and we will come together so nobody gets harmed on the way in. Let's see if we got any more questions here. Yeah, Paula was saying our respect is growing and we should join together, and that's what I'm just talking about, you know. I'm sick of it. Like I said in my last live video, I'm sick of, you know, trying to defend by typing. I'm sick, you know, when you see someone's face, you see their sincerity, you can see, you know, their passion, you can see what kind of person they are. You read their body language, you read how they hold themselves. And that's why I'm doing this. You know, I don't want my face out there. I don't want to be known everywhere I go. This is just so people understand what we're about. We are not about hate. We are not about pushing an agenda and all this bullshit that Antifa tries to feed you about we're Nazis and this and that. I mean, come on. We associate with Jewish people and Sandra Solomon, and we've helped many people of different ethnicities all across our country. We don't play that stupid racism game. In fact, I've had a lot of investigations on people that have tried to enter our club. A lot of racist people do try to enter our club. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? You got mainstream media running around telling everybody that we're racist. Of course they're going to come knocking at our door. But that doesn't mean they get in. We have ways of researching these people. It's very easy to find these ties, and they get pushed out as soon as they come knocking. Oh, and speaking, I saw someone mention Edmonton. I'd just like to put a big props out to my brothers out in Calgary for what they did at the Veterans Association in their local neighborhood there. They went out there. They put out the labor for free. They went and painted all the stuff in there. Great job, guys. I commend you for what you did. Awesome work. What are your views about Tommy Robinson and his activism in the UK? I haven't really looked into Tommy himself that much. He seems, from what I've seen on a couple of videos, he seems very passionate about what he believes. A lot of the stuff I do agree with, but as I said, I don't really know his full story, right? So I'm not going to really touch on anything I'm not fully aware of. Russell says, so many friends and family are in denial about what's going on and are terribly uncomfortable when you bring up the subject. Have I noticed? Yeah, I noticed. I mean, when I first joined Soldiers of Odin, I mean, you could imagine the reaction that you get from a lot of people with all the misconceptions out there. And, you know, it's just as bad when you try to explain what's going on with Islamist extremism. It's no longer this, I'm going to, you know, you still get these random terror attacks, of course, but these guys are taking it to another level, the Muslim Brotherhood especially. They're taking it to a whole nother level by infiltrating our government and taking stances like Islamophobia, M103, all that, E411, everything. All that stuff is just a stepping stone towards their goal 20, 30 years down the road. You know, and unfortunately, a lot of people aren't going to see it till it's too late, and that's why it's up to people like us We've got to get out there. We've got to inform people. Got to show them the truth. Because what's coming our way, you can clearly see in Europe. And if you don't want that for your country, for your family, you need to stand the fuck up. And I don't mean go out and attack Muslims, because a lot of Muslims are good people. But I mean have your voice heard. And have it heard properly. You know, don't go out there spewing hate against Muslims. You know, it's quite all right to have an opinion about a religion. Okay, and I've said this to our members many times. You can have an opinion about a religion all you want, as long as you're not discriminating against somebody that practices that religion, because, let's be honest, our country considers Islam a religion, and you have freedom to religion in this country. You know, so we have to be very careful with how you say this, especially with emotions like M103. If this goes throughout the years and becomes a law, like, you know, you've got to be very careful. You can't just single out Muslims, because there's good Muslims and there's bad Muslims. There's good Christians, there's bad Christians. There's good and bad people all over the place. We need to be more specific. We need to be more educated in our responses. We need to be a lot more educated in the information that we send out as well. Got to fact check what you're doing. You got to make sure that this stuff isn't fake, right? I'm just, another thing I wanted to touch on. You always get these people calling our club right-wing extremists. Right-wing extremist is a neo-Nazi, okay? We're not neo-Nazis. White supremacists don't give a shit if you think they're white supremacists. Why would we hide that? You know, that's not what we're about. What we are is we're free thinkers. We're free thinkers. We're not left. We're not right. We think for ourselves. And I've said this before, I strongly recommend it. Because if you're just following the pack, you're just another sheep in the Liberal Party. You're another sheep in the Conservative Party. You're another sheep for somebody else. Right-wing extremists. Give me a break. Yeah, Brad Davies, there is a Niagara group. Contact the page, and I'm sure someone will forward it to you. Leah Marie's asking what happened to Canada's guns. Well, there's nothing at the moment, but I wouldn't put it past them to try to take them from us. Mary's asking if we can get the police to work with us. Absolutely. I mean, we do call them when we do patrols and stuff to make sure that they're aware of our presence when we go out there. Obviously, you're going to call them when you do protests and stuff like that, because you know, you don't want innocent people getting harmed by these clown Antifas running around. But they need help too. I mean, they can't, you know, you look at any riots that have happened, they get severely outnumbered. I mean, they did a very good job at controlling them in Washington, D.C., I must say. The tactics they used in that riot squad were very well done. They actually cornered them in a block radius, had all the other people leave fucking safely. It was actually quite well done. Yeah, Katie Rhino, if I'm saying that correctly. Cops don't enforce the laws that they don't agree with the masses. Well, this is where something I wanted to touch on, actually. I'm glad you said that. Of course not. I mean, the police are not going to be ordered by their higher-ups, like the mayor and the chief of police and things like that are tied to their local governments, that are going to harm their political party. It's just, they're not. Okay, I mean, and that's why you see what happens when Antifa goes to these rallies against people like us or anybody else that opposes the Liberal government. They allow them to stay. They don't arrest them for wearing masks, for example. But if we go to their rallies, get shut down like that, it's a joke. And I'm sure a lot of these police officers don't agree with it. But you got to understand, I mean, these guys, this is their livelihood. This is how they feed their families, right? You know, a lot of these cops, I'm sure, can't stand these Antifa. I'm sure they just wish that they could just take them down. The fact of the matter is our Liberal government is not allowing that. And that's why groups like our club have took it upon ourselves to get out there and help protect these people. Because honestly, people like us or the JDL or any of the personal friends of Sandra Solomon that have come along to help her and protect her, there would be hell to pay. There would be so much violence happening at these things, it would be ridiculous. Absolutely, Paula. It's not about racism, it's about our freedoms. And that's just the liberal go-to, you know. Don't agree with them, call them a racist. That's what they do. Children. Let's see, any more questions here? What do I think about Alex Jones? Well, I think he means well. He's got a lot of good stuff that comes out, but he's quite the character. I'll leave it at that. I mean, he's out there, but yeah, I mean, from what I can tell, he's just trying to expose the truth about corruption in our government, and I got nothing wrong to say about that. All the power to him. Let's see, got some more here. Yeah, Russell Jones, you're absolutely right. The Muslim Brotherhood is actually plan is, as soon as you said there, 2% of population. That's when they initiate their civilization jihad. In our country is at 3.2 at the moment. I'm not sure if 3.2 is accurate, but it's definitely in that scope. Yeah, I mean, that's where it's at now, and we've got to expose these guys. We've got to make it very publicly known that what these people are about. Research the imams in your local area, find dirt on them, let the public know, send it to us, we'll let it out, whatever it takes. Ronnie agrees with me. You know, white supremacists don't hide their faces. They're openly hateful. They don't give a shit what you think. Let's see what else we got here. Absolutely, Daniel. I agree with you completely. The police need to be enforcing this law of the mass at the protest. There's no doubt about what your intentions are when you cover your identity. I'm sorry, you're there to start a problem. And if I was a cop in charge, that's what I would do. Immediately, eradicate the issue. If you get these guys out of here, it's going to be a peaceful day. It's that simple. Wake up, guys. Do your fucking job. Go to your superiors. Tell them how you feel about it. And if they don't fucking do anything, what the hell are you doing working for that freaking outfit? If they're not going to do their fucking job, why would you support that? You can get a job doing anything else. You know, if my club turned out to be what all these naysayers turned it into, I wouldn't have joined it. I'd walk away. The fact of the matter is, it's a great organization full of great people that want to help their communities. They want to protect innocent people. And you guys will see that. In due time. Time will tell. And time will tell with Antifa as well. We're going to keep digging into you little punks. And we're going to keep standing there and saying no. And not allowing this ridiculous, childish behavior. These are the type of people that didn't get fucking spanked when they were kids. Like, seriously. Wow. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The ones hiding their faces are the ones that are paid protesters. There's a small percentage of them. You know, the ones in the front line with the masks on. Those are the violent ones. The majority of them are just peons. They're just there to protest. You know, like, for example, in Vancouver, you know, a few weeks ago when I did my M103 speech, you know, they actually had one protester there. This one lady, I respect her because she was against us. But as soon as we started giving her information, she opened up her eyes. I gave her a copy of my speech. You know, I was like, look at it, research it, you know, look at it for yourself. And she admitted, she's like, you know what, maybe I'm not as read up on this subject as I should be, and she left. You know, it's a lot of the times it just takes a talking to, you know, you just gotta try to get your message out calmly, and people will react to that, as opposed to an aggressive stance where you're like yelling in their face and everything else. That's Antifa. Screaming and yelling, not knowing what the hell they're talking about. Okay, I'll try to get a couple more questions in here. Please turn up my volume. Up all the way. I can't really do much more. Masked and red armbands. Yeah, I think I touched on that earlier, Joanna. Yeah, I actually shared a post earlier on our page that you can clearly see these Antifas running around screaming Nazi scum wearing a red armband. I mean, doing fascist activities. All they were missing is a swastika. That's it. You know, these people are so hypocritical. It's ridiculous. It's just, and the fact that people don't see this, and they search things on the internet from anti-racism this and anti-racism that, that's all Antifa backed, and they take it as fact. They take it as some professional or some professor from the university that's teaching these communist fucks all this dumb shit. You know, like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. We got to start exposing these people in our universities, because this is a breeding communism within our universities. And never mind that, you've also got people from Muslim Brotherhood and Islamist extremists that are trying to work with these groups like Antifa. This is a big problem that needs to be addressed. And these people need to be exposed. Like I said, Cassandra Williams of Toronto University, student union president. I'll be posting your face all over our pages, so enjoy the publicity. Anyways, guys, I don't see too many questions coming in now. I'm just gonna probably wrap it up here. I'd like to, you know, get you guys to like and share our videos, like and share our posts, like the page, let your friends know to get out there and have their voice heard at all these protests. We'll keep sharing Sandra Solomon's information about what she's doing around the country, and stay tuned. We're going to be there every step of the way, and we're never going to step back. We're going to fight. We're going to make sure that these people realize that they can't walk all over innocent Canadians. We won't allow it. Stay safe. Good night.